One of the things that I have learned is that when I am storing my data in a database, there is a process these evil geniuses can use to extract the data, export it, and then use it for their evil geniuses way. And I have built this secure database particular process that I use throughout all of my projects is to make sure no one can steal my data for the users that I have. And in this video, I want to show you how you can do it for your application as well. So without any further ado, let me show you how easily you can do that with this particular framework. And by the time I'm done teaching you how to do that, you'll be like, holy crap. It is so easy. It'll make your application secure and no one is going to be able to get into your database. So let's get right to it. All right, so let's get right to it. So in this video, as I already talked about, we're going to be securing your database, and the process that I'm going to teach you is called secure, literally DB. And so let me show you what you probably are currently doing when you are calling your database. You're probably saying, hey, if you have a login page, you're doing the login.php, username equal whatever the username is, and password equal whatever the password is. This is probably not the most secure way for you to actually run this. And if you haven't seen my last video where I talk about the secure routing system, you want to go check it out. And don't worry, I will leave it in this description for you so that way you understand why secure routing is the most important thing that you could do for your application. And doing it this way, it is a horrendous way to create applications. So moving on. So let's just say hypothetically, you don't know any better, and I don't blame you. It's probably not your fault. You're doing your AJAX request this way, or passing data to your database to get it back by this way. So what a evil genius can do to hijack your application, and more importantly, your database, they can literally just take this and add this to it. And then guess what? They can literally have information from your database. And from preventing that, there is a class, a PHP class that I have created just for you, which will allow this not to go through it and will prevent it. So let me show you what it does and how we can set it up. And then we walk through all the critical operations of database, data entry, management, and all that good stuff. So let's get right to it. So in here, we got this, you know what? Let me go ahead and let's delete this out, and we'll go here. So these are my root directory. This is my root directory. This is my folder, and within the folder, there's a folder called secure DB. And once again, if you haven't checked out the secure routing system, the video that I created, you gotta go check that out. I will leave a link in the description for you. And just for those of you who may not have seen this, this is a summary version. In order for you to use that secure routing, what you need is, number one, your XAMPP install on your regular computer. There is a version for Linux, there's a version for Windows, there's a version for Mac. And if you have any one of those, you will be able to use this. And the installation is pretty self-explanatory for the most part. You just go click, and it's done. And then you will see an interface something like that. You click on the start button right here, but I already have the server running. Oh, that's why I have this. You click on this, click on admin, and you will get a page that will be on your local host, which will be this. And then within this folder, I have another folder called working, and then I have a secure DB. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go on and see what's in this particular folder that's going to make it so secure. So let me go ahead and close this out, open this up, and I'm using the Visual Basic. I always forget the name of the stupid thing. What the hell is it called? Yeah, Visual Studio Code. This is the coder that I'm using. I don't know why I keep forgetting that, but I use the hell out of it like every day. But anyway, that's the point. Let's move on. So in here, when you have it, this folder, and don't worry, if you have watched any of my video, I make it so stupid easy where you would have to be like working extra to be lazy to not follow what I do. I will give you a link in the description to download this whole folder, and within this folder you will have library folder, htaccess, index HTTP, index PHP, and then MySQL. And just to show you, and you know what, let me bring it up here. So you can just open up, when you click on this admin part, it will open up in, let's do zoom there, let me zoom it out. It will open up all your databases in here. So we'll go here, here, and then I'll scroll all the way down this database right there. And this is the database that we are going to be working with. It's called test_db. And within this database, there's a table called user. At the moment, there's nothing in there. It's completely empty, which is great. So we're gonna be dumping data in here and then try to see if we can hack the shit out of this database. Lack of a better word, right? So if you don't have that already, I have created this particular table that you can go ahead and insert that in there, import it. And to do that, basically you create a database and then you go to import. Here, you choose the file, wherever that file is located at, where you saved it at, the file, the folder that I have saved it for you in the description. The link, so you can download it. You navigate to this folder, this file right here, import it, and then your database will look something like the one that I have. Just one table, that's it. Which has, let me see. Let's go here. Open here, and then structure, which has ID, name, email, password, nothing crazy, but that's not the point. The point is to teach you the principles that you can utilize this into your application. So let's move on. So let's go over to the PHP index file. And you know what, let me close this out. So in here, we have two of the come on, let's go back here. So we have two libraries. This is the secure DB, and then also we have the secure route. Once again, the link will be in the description if you have not checked that out, because you're going to be missing that out in the long term if you do not include this in your project the right way. And then let's go over here. We got two files in here in the library folder, secure DB, secure route, and that's it. And all you gotta do is include it, bada bing, bada boom, we're all good to go. And to access the secure route, all you gotta do is put this in here, because this is from, once again, your root, subfolder, subfolder, and that's that. And that's how it goes. And then for your main routing function and the main route of your website, so in this case for me will be this right here. So this is the main folder of my website project folder, which will be welcome to secure database homepage. That's what it is. So what we want to do next is, and before we go on further, so this is what this does. The next one will be the CRUD operation, which will be create, read, update, and delete. And let me go ahead and spell that out for you in case you want to know. CRUD. Create, read, update, and delete. That's a simple operation in every web development application. You need to do that no matter what you do. You got to insert it. It should be literally called insert it, select it, update, and delete. I don't know why they keep it called. So insert, select, UD. I don't know, that's UD. That sounds weird, but CRUD sounds a little more sufficient. I kind of pronounce, when you pronounce it, it sounds a little better. So we'll just go with CRUD. But in short, this is where it insert, select, update, and delete. That's what we're doing. All right, so moving on. So let's take a look at the library, which is the secure database. We're going to open it up here, go to secure library. And this is the library that I have created for you, and it does use the latest version of the security for PDO and all that stuff. And you do not need to mess with any of these things in here, because when I'm gonna show you, you're gonna be blown away. All you gotta do is just include it, bada bang, bada boom, and it does everything for you. I mean, I don't think I can make it any more lazier than this. Come on. If you can't do this, then you really shouldn't be a web developer or getting into the web development. It's like you gotta be really working really, really fucking hard and be lazy to the point where you're like, I don't want to do anything. Everything should be done for me in this age of AI. Come on, man. You got to do some work, right? So let's go. So include this library. And the routing thing, if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. Go check out the video on the routing and you understand it. So let's move on to the next part, which is insert. So I created a route called insert. And then to use the secure database, all you really have to do is call it like this. This is the initiating of you making a connection to the database. So the number one thing, if you're doing this on your computer, it will always be localhost. And the user by default is root. And the password by default is nothing, because no one is going to be looking into your computer, because it's not really a web server that anyone can access it. It's only for you, for testing purposes only. But when you go put it in the live server, like a web hosting, you would have to put in the information that you get from your web hosting in here, make it more secure. And then the database is just literally test database, which would be, like I said, right here with one table. That's it. It's that simple. So the next part is we want to insert just one single row of data. To do that, all you really have to do, use this block of code. And this block of code, how does it work? It's gonna look for, insert the table where you want to insert it in. And then the next one will be an array. This will be your column of the name. This will be column, this will be name, and this will be column value, column value, column value. So just to show you, when I go over here, open up the user table, and then go to structure. These are my columns. This is where I want to insert data in. I got my name, I got my email, I got my password. All right, moving right along. So if I want to do that, all I have to do is, I don't know if I can make it any bigger without looking stupid. All right, I think that might be just too big, but I hope you can see this. So this is the insert route. When we can call this by just calling insert. To do that, this is the block of code that we're gonna go ahead and insert it in. But by using DB, which we initiated over here, and then we're going to use the arrow with the dash, and then the first parameter it takes is the table name, followed by a array, which will have a other objects, column, value, column, value, column, value. And you can add as much as you want. There is no restriction to that. And then once it's done, it's going to give you an ID that is going to echo that out. So let's go ahead, see that in practice. So we're going to go over here, we're going to go to the top, and we're going to go insert, boom. And now we have one row of data. So let's go over here. So right now you see there's no zeros row. I'm going to refresh it. And now we have one row. Let's go. And then lo behold, there is my row of data. I got demo user O'Reilly with the unique thing that I got from PHP, along with the email, along with the password that I created. And I created the password by hashing it right over here. So this is how you can easily insert data and get the actual data unique ID back. So in case you want to include that with the further operation of your route, you could do that too. You know what? This is a little too big, so I'm going to just zoom out a little bit because it's like crazy for me. All right, so that's that. So next step, which a lot of different frameworks that I have used for PHP, they do not allow you to do this very easily, which will be including multiple rows of data in one single insert statement. So let me show you. Like we just saw, one insert. Okay, maybe you just want to include one row in your table and that's that, right? But what if you want to include multiple, like if you're doing a data dump, you can use what I have created. It's called insert multiple. Same principle. It will use a user as a table, and then this will be a array, a multi-dimensional array, which means it's array, and then within an array, there's another array which has different columns or objects, you can call it. You have a name, email, password, and so on and so forth, and it repeats itself. So let's go ahead and try this out. So I'm gonna go to over here, and just to show you right now, we only have one row of data. Now we want to insert multiple rows of data. So I'm gonna click over here, multi, and then boom, and it tells me I have how many? 5, because we have one before, and I'm expecting 4 more. So let's see. And there it is. There are 4 rows of data inserted. So this is the top one, this is the second one, third, fourth, and fifth, so on and so forth. So it's literally that simple. And in case you're wondering, Mark, what happened to the SQL injection part? Blah, 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 blah. That was supposed to be securing it. Within this class, which I am going to show you, when you do this, the class that I built, it already takes care of it for you automatically. You do not need to worry about it. If you're a little more advanced, or you're like, hey man, I want to poke around, I want to see what you actually did, I don't trust you, Mark. Even though you have 2 SaaS company that's doing 6-figure, I still don't trust you. Even though I don't have a lot of stuff like you do, but I still don't trust you. Go ahead, look for it. I gave you the course. I mean, I gave you the class, you could look through it, blah, blah, blah. But this is gonna help you make it simple. So fucking simple, where you just do this and it does it for you, and you never have to worry about anyone hacking your web application. Like, come on, let's go, man. All right, so this is what you do. It takes 2 parameters. One is the table name, another was a multi-dimensional row, because you're inserting multiple rows. And then there's another parameter that is the number of rows you want to insert at one point in time. As you can see, there's a table name, there's row, and there's a batch size. Let's say if you have, I don't know, 10,000 rows of data that you want to insert, what it will do is it will take 1,000 of that 1,000 of those 10,000, so it will go through it and break them in the chunk of 1,000 rows. And if you do not want to chunk them in 1,000 rows, you can specify. You can say, hey, take it at 5,000 rows or 2,000 rows and chunk them. It will do it. By default, I have programmed it where it will chunk it in 1,000 rows. But if you don't put it in there, you just leave it like this, which will be your table and array. That's it. And by default, it will say, hey, I'm going to chunk it no matter what you give me in 1,000 ways. 1,000 different rows. So yeah, you're welcome. This made it easy for you. And then this one is pretty simple. Like I say, select. So we inserted 2 of them. Now we're getting it back and we say select. And this is just your regular MySQL statement. If you don't know what that is, then you shouldn't be watching this video. Come on, man. You got to know some basic of it. So, but just to help you out, basically what that means is select all of the columns from table name, this, and it puts it in here. And then I'm using this print array and it puts it into this particular format. So makes it easier for me to read it and anybody else for that matter. And then when you are troubleshooting it, you could say, oh, ID is this and then that, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. All right. Moving right along with me so far. Let me know in the comments what you think of this so far. Do you think it will be helpful when you're creating your own project? Or do you think it needs some improvement? Let me know. I love love reading comments. All right. So let's move on. So the next part, like we just talked about right here, select. So we're going to go over here. We're going to say select and then initiate the database, yada, yada, yada. And then we're going to say select all from table where ID equal, and this will be a parameter over here. So whatever you put in here, it needs to be equal to this. So for example, I just have it as ID, which means where ID equal number 2. Let's run this. Let's see how this goes. And we go over here, select. That didn't work. It should be only one. Actually, it did work. But so right now it says this is ID equal 2. So if I go back here and refresh it, so this is the ID of Bob, and then we have Bob, so on and so forth. So if I go back here and I'll say just I, and I'll go back here, I have to say equal I as well. So what that means is whatever this is, there needs to be same thing in here. If I don't do it, it's not going to work, which also means if I want to have multiple like where statements where ID equal this and the name equal Bob, or and then I could just separate them right here simply by adding more of those identifiers. And that makes your select statement important. And you can get it down to the point where you're like, oh, this is what I want. And you get that specific row with the columns of different categories that are equal to this thing. All right, so let me go ahead and run this. And I obviously should just get this. You know what? Let me go ahead and just do a different one where ID equal row number 3. So if I go ahead, refresh it, and then there you go. However, if I go here and say ID and not have a D in here, let's see if it will run. I don't think it will. We'll see. And it says, hey, this is SQL statement error number. You have no idea what you're doing. You need to fix that crap. So that's why you got to make sure whatever you put here, that's where it's going to be put over here. So if I put ID and then go back, bada bing, bada boom, as we live and breathe, it works. So let's go on to the next part, which will be updating. So I'm just going to go ahead, delete that out and update. Same thing with this particular one line of code. So this is how it works. So this would be update. So let's go here. So this is the table, what data you want to update, followed by the third parameter, where it equals what. So this is the function parameter tables, what data you want to update. And this could be array, so you could update multiple different columns. And you could also have multiple different criteria where it equals this and that, this or that, that. So in this case, I want to say where row number ID equal to, update the name to say new name. So right now for this one, I just have a name as a Bob. When I run the update, it will say new name. So let's go ahead, update. And we did this. And if I go back here, and right now it says Bob equal blah, 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 blah. It should say new name now. And there you go. As we live and breathe, there is new name. It is that simple. I mean, come on. Don't you think it's that simple right now? I mean, really, it doesn't get any easier than that. Like, this is crazy busy. And most importantly, behind scenes, everything will be all securely inserted into your database and coming out of your database as well. So let's go on to the last part, which is deleting stuff. So we'll go over here, and then this one, it takes 2 parameters, which will be table where ID equals this. And normally I would recommend just only have one criteria that is unique. So in this case, ID is always going to be unique in this particular table. So that's why I picked ID equal number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So we'll go over here, here, and just show you, refresh it. There too. And I'm going to go delete this. And now it says it's deleted. So we go back here, refresh this particular table. And now ID number 2 is all gone. So that's how you do the CRUD operation. But what I want to do is just to show you, in case for whatever reason you want to, there is another function. There's a delete, there is update, there is select, multiple inserts, single insert, so on and so forth, right? You can use those. But there's also another function called escape in case you want to sanitize your data just to make sure that it works correctly before you insert it, so no evil geniuses can hack your application. You can use escape. So this is the function. You could put whatever you want in here and it will sanitize it. So for example, the thing that I showed you earlier, you put that in here, it's going to sanitize it. Even though my SQL statement or drop statement, it will sanitize it. It will also sanitize your URL or whatever the hell you put in here is going to sanitize it to make sure before it goes into your database or comes out of your database by going to like a select or something like that, it will not give any evil hacker your data. So let's see how this works. So we'll go over here, escape, and over here. And by default, it automatically does it for you. You don't have to do it when you do the CRUD operation. So this is just to show you extra step in case you're like, oh my God, I want to make more secure, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, this will do. So rather than having this comma, like you have it here, not this one, sorry. In here, so you see O'Reilly. In here, it will sanitize it, put a slash in here or backward slash, and that's that. And same thing for this one. And then this will just put it as a string. So it will not run on your server. And then same thing for this one. It will make sure this is saved as a string. So when you go into your database, it will be just inserted as a string. Nothing more, nothing less. So there you have it. So when you include this, let me go out of here. Maybe too much. When you include the secure database library, and it's literally just one file that you can go ahead and look into it. And when you see it, you'll be like, if you don't know this and you're a beginner, you don't need to look at it. This is only for people who have done some crazy stuff and been around the game for a while and they know what they're doing. You got to go look at this and you'll be blown away with all the stuff, time, effort that I put into it to create it just for you so you can use it into your application. And you can just include it in your application with the secure DB and secure route will become 1000% secure and you never have to worry about it. All right. So if you found this helpful, you got to do one thing. If you don't, then you will never, ever hear from me again. And that is to subscribe. And then also, if you don't want to be lazy, leave a comment below as to what you think of this and how is this going to be helping you. And if you subscribe, I'll catch you in the next video. If not, then you will never hear from me ever again. And you will be where you are right now in your web development world where you're not moving. So if you want to stay there, sayonara.